Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of That Sounds Fun, The Seasons. I'm your host, Annie F. Downs. I am so happy to be here with you today. If you're in the U.S., happy Labor Day. I hope you're getting time with your friends outside, getting lost somewhere, playing around, whatever you get to do today. I hope you're enjoying it. Honored to be walking alongside you on your Monday. I need you to know that in my 11 years of podcasting and 1,000 episodes, my sister has never been as major a fangirl of anyone as she is the guest I've had on today. So you are in for a treat, but my sister is in for a real treat. Today on the show, we are asking the question, how can my kitchen reflect the seasons? But before we dive in, I want to tell you about one of our incredible partners. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We turn to some funny places for support. TikTok, ChatGPT, our hairstylist asked for me in my house. I like to do reels from counselors, but not everyone is a therapist, you guys. When you're looking for real help about relationships or anxiety, depression, or other clinical issues, they may not have all the right answers online. Instead, get guidance from a credentialed therapist online with BetterHelp. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. They do the initial therapist matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and their 10 plus years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they typically get it right the first time. Plus, all of your sessions are online. It's so easy and convenient to schedule. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our friends get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/thatsoundsfun. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thatsoundsfun. Today on the show, I get to talk with my new friend, Kate Strickler, also known as Naptime Kitchen. She is a delight. We're going to take a look behind the curtain of launching a book for the first time. We recorded on her book launch day last week. Her first book just came out called I Just Wish I Had a Bigger Kitchen. We're going to talk about why we struggle with what we don't have and how to learn to love the life that we do have. And you're going to hear the best hack for cinnamon rolls. I am telling you, this whole conversation is such a treat. If you're following along in your TSF Seasons Guidebook, we are on page 90. As always, the guidebook is available for you at anniefdowns.com/seasons. And with that, here's my conversation with my friend, Kate Strickler from Naptime Kitchen. That sounds fun. Kate, I told you this already, but never in my entire podcasting life has my sister ever cared about my job until you got here. She would like you to know you are her internet best friend. So congratulations.
I'm so honored. I am.
How do you hear that a lot?
I have heard it before.
Yes.
So, and I'm always honored because I just think it's a very kind thing to say to somebody.
If anyone ever stops me in public and says, I feel like we're friends, I always say, me too. Yeah. That is how I feel when I'm talking to my phone.
Yeah,
I'm like,
true.
Yeah, I'm talking to my friends.
It's a weird world. It is.
There's one girl that I follow, and she says, "Ring, ring, pick up," and then at the start of her stories, and then at the end she says, "Okay, Bessie, I'll call you back." And I'm always like, that is how I feel about her. Back us up a little bit. Naptime Kitchen. I'm acting like everyone doesn't follow you, but everyone does. So, how did Naptime Kitchen start? How did you end up being the internet's best friend?
Well, it was completely by accident, first off. So this was back in like the dark ages of Instagram, where you just posted one square and you put, ironically, the Nashville filter.
Yeah,
I was always putting the Nashville filter.
Totally.
And you would write like a caption. And so I had a personal account, family photos. We had one child at the time. He was 6 months old. And I was cooking a lot because I was stuck at home because he was napping. And so I was just in this state of kind of like needing a creative outlet, cooking a lot. And I was like, okay, well, I need like a separate place for this. So I decided to create a second Instagram, and I called it Naptime Kitchen because the tagline was like, while the baby sleeps, I cook. Yeah. And so it was like recipes, and a lot of them were kind of more elaborate, or it would be like stretching our money to make it elaborate because my husband was in law school at the time. And over time, the recipe, it's funny, we had more kids and the recipes like went down. It was like a really inverse relationship, but also Instagram was changing. So like I remember Instagram stories coming out.
Yeah, same.
And like how fun they were, how like you couldn't even record them ahead of time when they first came out.
That's
like you had to record them in the moment.
Yep.
It was so fun.
There was no saving it to your phone.
No saving it to your phone. And then I remember Reels coming out. So it's really been, I basically started, and then I've just been trying to keep up with Instagram for the last 10 years.
I know.
But it has remained 99% of the time. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Like it's just remained a fun place to show up.
I need to confess to you a thing about my kitchen. I do not use it. It is not my favorite room. It's like a hallway with a fridge.
About you, actually.
Okay. I mean, I can once a week make something that'll last me for a couple of days. I just don't enjoy it as much. Do you really? And what? I assume you do. Do you enjoy it? And if you do, what do you enjoy about being in your kitchen?
I love to cook, and I think it's like innate in me because my entire childhood, whenever I would like come home from school, come home from college, like my mom would be in the kitchen and the Food Network would be on.
Yeah.
And it's not like she was creating these huge elaborate meals, but she would do a lot of things. You know, one day I'll be over there and she's just roasting a bunch of garlic and then she's going to freeze it so that like anytime she needs roasted garlic for a recipe, she has it. Or she would do the same with like ginger. She would mince a bunch of ginger and then freeze it into like smaller portions.
Rachel Ray style. Chop it twice. Chop it once, use it twice. Yeah.
And so when I am in a state of like overflow and enjoyment, I am normally going to be like, oh, I'm going to go make like cookie dough. Or so I'm not going to go like prep dinner.
Yeah.
That's more of like a necessity.
Yeah.
But I will do something fun. I'll be like, let's make homemade cookie dough, or let's make a Nutella pie, or something like really delicious. But that's what, like my husband, you're going to find him reading. I would rather be doing something in the kitchen. I just like love it. And it feels super, I think I'm very practical. I know I am, like to a fault. And so there's something about like, oh, well, this is going to feed us. So it's great to use my spare time doing something that will benefit me.
I agree with that.
It's like
hobbies that benefit you are excellent.
Hobbies that benefit you. So
my counselor often says relief that causes no harm.
Yes.
And so that fits in the category.
And I am not, it's like I love to cook. I wouldn't say that I'm overly domestic. Like if a button pops on something, my kids are like, how quickly can we get this to Berber, who is my mom? Or they call my sister, who's Anna, they call her Nana. So they're like, how do we get it to Berber and Anna? Like they are not expecting me to sew a button. Like there's a long list of things I don't know how to do, but the kitchen is just like where I love to be.
Today we open your fridge, and what is in there every time? What's always there?
Okay. Always kombucha. We love kombucha.
Really?
All the kids love kombucha.
Do you make it?
No.
With that weird slimy thing?
We went through a phase.
Sure.
I went through the kombucha phase, but I could never get it fizzy enough.
Yeah. Okay.
And so...
And then it's real gross. I bet if it's not fizzy. Yikes, dude.
Always kombucha. Always eggs, because Nate eats eggs every morning. I am a big decaf iced coffee person. It has to be decaf because I'm I just can't have too much caffeine. Yep. So I love, like the Stock came out with decaf iced coffee. That's always going to be in there. There's always going to be fruit because I have these children and they don't really eat vegetables. So I'm just hoping that fruit.
Oh, the other day on Instagram, you're like, I have to cut an apple. I have to. And you did. I love how you cut apples. I have to tell you.
Thanks.
It's one of our most popular YouTube videos is everyone in the office showing how they cut apples.
That is hilarious.
It's all very different, but I really appreciate how you cut your apples.
And my mom laughs because I do almost everything with a chef's knife. And she, like one day she came over and she was like, good Lord. Why are you cutting an apple with a 10-inch chef knife? And I was like, this is just what I just use it for everything. And she just was like, why do you have such a large knife for this task? Because she would use like a paring knife.
Yeah, 100%.
So even that, I was like, this is the knife I use. So she's like,
As we're going from summer to fall, one of the recipes I just saw you make is cinnamon rolls with the Hawaiian rolls.
Oh, golly.
What? Tell me, how do you make that?
Honestly,
what did you do?
It really... It's upsetting because I spent really the better part.
All pioneer woman.
Yes, the better part of the last 6 months. I spent a lot of time like learning how to make cinnamon rolls, like the yeast, the rising, the waiting. Like I'm not a baker. My mom and my sister, again, they are bakers.
Yeah.
I never did because why would I? They're baking for me. So the whole process, like I was calling my sister, like I don't know if it says that if I punch my fingers in, it should indent 2 inches, but it shouldn't come back too quickly. How quickly is too quickly?
Right,
I'm like stressed out by this. So I spent a long time learning. And then I don't know if I saw it. So I can't remember how, but I was like, I know there's a recipe that involves using King's Hawaiian rolls. So I think I typed in like viral King's Hawaiian roll cinnamon rolls.
All right.
You make them so quickly and they are amazing. They're so good. And I was like, well, darn.
Like all that work for this.
All that work. And these are like, my kids were like, these are better. They were like, these are so much better. But frankly, that's probably good because now I'll make them more often because we're just using our friend King's Hawaiian roll.
Yes. I mean, you were so funny. We'll share that video. You were so funny when you like practically pass out.
Yes.
Like, no, don't tell me this is always available. And I just learned how to make 6 pans like Pioneer Woman.
Yes.
It's just,
they're excellent. And I really think
great.
that you could make a bunch and like freeze them.
Oh, great. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Last week, your new book just came out. I just wish I had a bigger kitchen. And let's pull back the curtain. We're recording on book launch day.
We are.
How dare you? Thank you so much. I can't believe you used your time this way.
Oh my gosh.
Kate.
This is a great thing to do on a book launch day.
Say
honestly. Well, otherwise I think I'd be like, what would I be doing?
That's
I'd
exactly
be like
right.
pacing a room. There's nothing I could do.
There's nothing to do on book launch day. It is the biggest farce of this whole thing. Is people are like, congratulations. You're like, what do you want me to do? Watch Amazon?
Yes.
Yeah.
And luckily, my parents were so kind. So they kept our kids for the night.
Yeah.
And so Nate and I got to come here together. We get to go to dinner together, stay in a hotel. And so it was like we get to kind of like have a mini little celebration. So thank you.
How do you feel with the book being out today? What are some of your feelings?
I have been so excited. I think just to know like there's nothing else I can do.
That's
like
right.
it's just, and people are posting. The fun part, I think, of having a social media presence when you write a book is that you already have this place that people are used to like communicating with you or they know that they could like post a picture of your book and tag you. And so it's been so fun because people are like holding it in their hands, tagging me. So this is like the celebration part for me. And I've been like, just ride this wave of the enjoyable, like, there were parts of this process that were so hard. And so like, why did I ever sign up to do this? This is not fun. And so to this part, I'm like, oh, it's just really fun.
Yeah.
Like I just feel very loved and celebrated. And
while honoring everyone who's worked with you, publishers, et cetera. What was one of the parts that was not fun?
The way I've explained it to friends is it's almost like if you're in college and you're with your friends having a good time, but you know that you have like a term paper that you need to write. And it's just kind of like in the back of your mind.
Always.
Basically all of 2024. The whole year.
You had homework the whole
was
year.
Like, you need to work on the book.
I know.
Like you need to go. Like it felt like, no, this is actual. There are deadlines.
Yeah.
There's expectations. Yeah. And there are a lot of words that you need to write. And Instagram is very much a place where you learn to write sharp. Yeah. It's like, cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. And this was like, no. Open it up, go longer, talk more about that, which is kind of the opposite of how I had been writing for the last 9 years, which is like, how do I get this point across in as few words as possible? Because people are not giving me their attention for long. Mm-hmm. Whereas this is more like, no, they bought the book, you have their attention.
Yes.
You can expound on that, which is just like I had to kind of wrap my head around drawing things out more.
A friend of mine said to me this week, you seem so relaxed. Like you've kind of been through this thing and it looks like you're on the other side. I was like, no. I turned in a project. Yeah. I was like, I don't have this project in the back of my head. Just like you're talking about, like, it just lives with you. Yeah. I tell people all the time, being a writer feels like having homework every day for the rest of your life. Yeah. You're like, there's always something I could be doing. Yeah. It is such a good book, Kate.
Thank you.
I loved reading it. I enjoyed it so much. It's called I Just Wish I Had a Bigger Kitchen and Other Lies I Think Will Make Me Happy. Simple mindset shifts to love the life you already have, which is such a like drum I love to bang to of like, love your life. Like you love your life. In it, one of the things you say toward the beginning is like, love the home you are already in when you're talking about our houses. Yeah. Is that true about the seasons? Do we need to love the season that we're in?
Yes. I mean, I think it's ironic because when you first said that, I was like, you mean like actual seasons, which we love.
Yes.
We laugh about because we live in Charleston and it's August in Charleston. And I'm like, love the season I'm in. And we got off the flight from Nashville and the humidity is so much less.
Oh, y'all picked a great week too. The weather's awesome.
It's gorgeous.
Yes.
And Nate said, man, Charleston's the worst. Which most people listening would probably love to be in Charleston, but at this time of year, you don't.
August is tough.
Yeah. So the literal winter, spring, summer, fall season, but then also I just think the season of life that you're in is something that we talk about so much on Naptime Kitchen is just like what is happening in your life? Like how can you really cling on to the season that you are in, whether it's a season with like young kids or a season of being single, like whatever it is that like where God has you and like what that means for your family and yourself and not wishing it away.
How do you fall in love with the season you're in if you're not having fun?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I would probably want to know. I feel like sometimes you have to ask, like, are you really not having fun? Like, is your life so bad that there really isn't?
Great
and normally,
question.
It's almost like when my child comes home and they're like, I had a bad day at school. And there is maybe one thing.
A bad thing happened.
One bad thing happened at school. But like overall, they had a great day at school. So I would probably want to press in on what is it? Is it really all bad? And some people, there probably are people that are legitimately like, it is really all bad.
Yeah.
But I'd probably press in more. Like, what is bad about it? Like, what is just, it reminds me of a masseuse getting into that, like, knot when they find it.
Yep.
And just really trying to get into, like, what is it that you want?
Yes.
And sometimes I think we don't know. It's like when my husband is like, where do you want to eat? And he lists off 10 places. And I'm like, actually, I just don't know what I want to eat. But nothing sounds good. And that's something.
But I'm hungry.
But that's like something we also have to own.
Yeah.
Of like, I think that God can meet you in that place. And God is a very safe place to be able to say, I'm just not happy right now. And I'm not exactly sure why. And can you help me figure out why I'm not happy or what I think would make me happy? What is the thing that I think would solve all my problems? And kind of start from there.
That's beautiful. That's it, is the backup of what do I actually have?
Yeah.
What do I, like when I freak out about finances, they go, hold on. You haven't even looked. You're freaking out because of what you think.
Yeah.
Sit down and actually look and then assess. The reality of the whole thing is helpful.
Yeah.
And so for any of our friends and me in moments when I'm not loving the season, like, okay, what's the reality of the season?
Yeah.
What is it? What is actually true and what's actually good about it?
Yeah.
I have never had kids before, but that must be really challenging when you have a lot of little kids in your house to like find the best when you're having a hard day because you just have to keep feeding them.
Yes. It's funny because they're also like a beautiful distraction. You can't wallow for very long because they just demand, like you just can't sit in something for too long. And it's almost like your body has to move and therefore it'll move your mind out of something that's like really hard. Because even there have been days with this book launch coming out that I just felt like anxious, just like anxiety about this.
Sure.
But
it's your first book, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
But I still had to do all the normal things.
Right.
And they almost like work you out of it. It's like I couldn't just sit
Yes.
in my anxiety.
Yes.
I was forced to work through it. So, but going back to that other question too, I think in the writing of this book, something I cared a lot is that people would know that if you see my life and you think like, Kate just it doesn't seem like Kate ever has like a hard day about this or struggles with like finances or body image or all these topics, that if you have days where you're like, I am really battling this, I have been there so often.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be to Nate. The best is when Nate asks me, like, what do you want? And I'm like, I want to knock down the walls and I want to give us a bigger kitchen and I would like new countertop. Like if I finally just open up a blank page and write it all out and then you're like, okay, this is hilarious, Kate.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. And I'm like, and I'd like a week in Hawaii, you know, if you really but I go there. Like, I will go to this place.
That's
like,
so smart.
I just wish I blah, blah, blah. And then normally if I write it out or say it out loud, sometimes it's laughable. Yeah. It's like, okay, I might just need a nap.
Yeah, right. It's that Elijah or Elisha story, I'm not who, where he's under the tree and like, I can't live anymore. And the angel's like, here's some food, take a nap. Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, even in the Bible, here's a snack, take a nap.
Yes.
It is so helpful. Hey friends, just interrupting this conversation. Tell you about one of our incredible partners, Thrive Causemetics. No matter what your favorite makeup look is, whether you prefer a minimal look or a full face of glam, Thrive Causemetics has all the products you need. And the best part is every product is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and made with clean, skin-loving ingredients that work with your skin, not against it. Even if it's a minimal kind of look day for me, I am always going to have on Thrive Causemetics liquid lash mascara and probably some lipstick too, because, well, I'm always Annie. Their Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara is my absolute favorite product they carry, and I'm clearly not the only one who thinks so. It has 40,000 five-star reviews, you guys. It's one of their best sellers, and I'm sure you've seen it all over the internet. It's the vegan tubing mascara in the turquoise tube. You know the one. There are 6 shades that last all day without clumping, smudging, or flaking and make your lashes look like extensions by lengthening and defining them from root to tip. Plus, it's super easy to get it off at the end of the day, which I deeply appreciate. Thrive Causemetics has donated over $150 million worth of product and cash funds to over 600 giving partners across the U.S. Their donations support 8 major causes, including those affected by cancer and homelessness, domestic abuse, and more, reaching individuals from all walks of life. And their transformative impact is made possible through the support of their wonderful customers like you and me. So maximize your look with minimal effort. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/TSF, and my friends get an exclusive offer of 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/TSF. And another incredible partner I get to tell you about, Ritual. Listen, I know a lot of us are trying to keep track of how much protein we're eating or how much fiber we get in a day. So also thinking about the vitamins and nutrients we're getting is just one more added thing to try to keep up with. It is exhausting. It's why I really love Ritual's Essential for Women 18 Plus multivitamin so much. It is formulated to fill the nutrient gaps in my diet. It's a simple way to get the vitamins I need in my day. Plus, I really trust Ritual and their products. They conducted a university-led clinical trial for their Essential for Women 18 Plus multivitamin, and the results? It increased vitamin D levels by 43% and omega-3 DHA levels by 41% in just 12 weeks. It's also third-party tested for heavy metals and Clean Label Project certified, so you know you can trust what you're putting in your body. Instead of striving for perfect health, aim for supporting foundational health. My friends, get 25% off your first month only at ritual.com/thatsoundsfun. Start Ritual or add Essential for Women 18 Plus to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/thatsoundsfun for 25% off. Okay, now back to our conversation with Kate. I'll tell you, as I read this book, it is so honest, Kate. It is so honest, but I don't know that I've ever read a chapter like I just wish I had a better husband. Like you, invited us in to where I believed you in every other chapter because you wrote that.
Oh,
will you talk about? Because for our single friends listening, everybody thinks there's a knight in shining armor coming who is not a sinner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No matter how old you are, you think, well, I'm waiting on the guy. And no, I know he's going to be a sinner, but then he sins and you're bothered. Why did you decide to write that?
I think because I was like, how could I possibly leave it out? It feels like, how could I possibly leave out marriage?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's one of the biggest, it is one of the biggest joys and the biggest places of disappointment and comparison.
Yeah.
Because unless you have good friends in your life that are willing to really pull back the curtain on their marriages, it is very easy to look at your friends and think, they're doing great. They're doing great. They're doing great. I bet they never fight. I bet that, I don't know what I'm allowed to say. I'm like, I bet they have sex 5 times a week. Right. Golly, you know, like just unless you have friends that are like, we're in a fight, we do not see eye to eye on this issue, and you really get to like get into the nitty gritty. If you don't have that, then you're probably going to believe that you're the only marriage that struggles with this or that.
Even with single people, you see either perfect marriage or blown up marriages.
Yes.
You don't see the gradient in the middle if you're not invited in, because you don't realize like, oh, there's like 1,000 problems between that marriage that has no problems from the stage and the marriage that's recovering from the terrible, whatever the terrible is.
And Annie, really quick funny story. So my daughters, I have a boy and 3 girls, and the girls are 8, 6, and 3. And the 8-year-old and the 6-year-old have friends over all the time.
Yeah.
So one day there was a bunch of girls over. This was in the last month. And there was just a fight. Like they're really learning relationships. They're learning like hurting each other's feelings, leaving each other out. So there's like 4 of them. And I was like, okay, girls, if you are going to stay friends, you are going to hurt each other's feelings. Like it's inevitable that you will hurt each other's feelings. And so you're going to have to learn to apologize when you're wrong, and you're going to have to learn to forgive each other, or it's just not. And it like wasn't clicking. And I was like, I want you to just think about your parents. Your parents love each other, right? Yeah. And they were all like, yes. And I was like, but I bet your parents fight sometimes. Every one of them was like, oh my gosh, my dad, last night, my mom was so, they all start sharing. And I was like, it's okay. You don't have to share the stories.
Right.
But it clicked to them in the marriage mindset of like, your parents are committed to each other, but your parents get into disagreements and like don't get along. And I think sometimes we think of marriage separate from friendship. But if you think about your friendships and how often like your friends hurt your feelings, or you have to like work in friendship, it's like marriage is a more committed, like long-term friendship.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah. With sharing bank accounts and beds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't imagine writing the book without marriage being in there.
Yeah. So. I just thought it was such a brilliantly written. I mean, the whole really genuinely so well written, but I saw you say on Instagram yesterday that the friendship chapter, it surprised you how that's the one standing out to women. I had a really painful best friendship breakup, worst breakup of my life. And it was with my friend.
Yeah.
And we just don't talk about that very much. And you talk so honestly about comparison and friendship. What are you hearing from women as they're reading that chapter and connecting with it?
I think just the deep desire for friendship and for like deep friendships is huge.
Yeah.
And a lot of women, whether they move or they just haven't like found that groove, or they are still friends with like, you know, friends from their hometown, whatever it is, it's like there's a strong desire. I think especially as you get older and you realize that you need people outside of your husband, especially if you're married, you need other people.
Yes.
Like that man cannot do it all. He cannot, you know, function as all that you need, that you want those relationships. And I think it is so tender to just be looking for friends and to wonder, who do I like? Who's going to like me back? I texted them to hang out and they were busy. Can I text them again? Should I ask them to hang out again? Are they going to think I'm needy? Like just the tap dancing of friendship, which because I have children makes it a lot easier, because there's a lot of like natural friendships happening because my kids are unabashedly making friends and they don't have this high level of self-awareness because they're still young. So they're like, can I go to my friend's house? And so then I'm meeting the parents. I'm getting to become friends with the parents. But if you don't have that and you are just, I mean, I think of it like trying to date. I mean, just having to put yourself out there and make friends. It is a vulnerable, and I think it just gets at your identity a little bit of, am I loved?
Yeah, right.
Do people love me? Do people want to spend time with me? Yeah. And I think inside of marriage, there could be a party that's like, oh, you know, my husband, he's committed. Sorry. You know, he's going to be with me. Yeah. But friends, gosh, do they like me? Was I invited to the margarita night, the Mahjong group? You know, whatever it is.
Isn't everyone playing Mahjong?
So I just think it's really vulnerable.
One of your dearest friends I'm friends with now too, Lindsay Myers. I love her. Created Colorful for all of our friends listening. I'm wearing colors she tells me to wear. She is the boss of me. y'all live in different cities.
Yes.
So how do you keep up a safe friendship with someone like that y'all don't live in the same place?
Yeah.
I have the same thing. I grew up in Atlanta. Some of my best friends are in Atlanta. I haven't lived there in 20 years.
Yeah.
How do you keep up friendships long distance that matter to you?
Yes. Well, so like with Lindsay specifically, we went to college together, and there's a group of us, and we have a text chain, and we use Marco Polo, the app.
And I think it is something in our age bracket. The girls younger than us don't care. I use it every day.
I think they're on Snapchat. I think the younger group is on Snapchat. I've never had it. That makes me feel so old.
Yeah. But Marco Polo is the best.
But Marco Polo was kind of years ago, we were like, why don't we do this to just try and see each other's faces? It probably was during COVID.
We started during COVID.
Yes.
Yeah. And it just stuck.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes a week will go by and like no one has said anything, and someone will get on and be like, hey guys, everybody okay? Like there'll be seasons.
Yeah.
And then like text messaging. I think we have a group text. And if Lindsay calls me, I normally am going to pick up because we don't get to talk on the phone very often. And a lot of times I'll think, is something really important? Like, do I need to? Yeah. Or if I can't pick up, I'm like, is everything okay?
Right.
Especially because we're far apart.
Right.
If it's a phone call. But like other friends, if they call me, I might be like, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah,
but especially with someone that I don't get to talk to as often, I want to make sure, like, is everything okay?
Yes.
But I remember, this is like my friend Allie a long time ago. I think the more you're willing to call, the easier it gets to call. And then the easier it gets to be like, hey, I got to go, picking the kids up. Talk to you later. Bye. Like if it becomes routine, it's easier to keep it up than like, oh gosh, if I answer this, it's going to be an hour. I'm just not going to answer. But more like, what if you just tried to talk more often or call more often for like shorter bits?
Yeah.
The best is when I'm on a text thread and somebody clicks the FaceTime for the whole group. And sometimes a few people will answer.
Yeah.
And for like 5 minutes, you're like, oh my gosh, we're all here. This is so fun. Yeah. Okay, bye. But it's like, it's kind of like, oh, that was so fun.
Right.
So I'm like, if you have a text thread, maybe this week just push the FaceTime button.
See who answers.
See if anybody answers.
You know what? That's a great idea.
And just say like, hey, I only had 5 minutes, but I just thought, and then you, even if you don't have 5 minutes, you could just say you did and just like see if anybody.
I have a terrible thing to tell you. One of my closest friends has a Samsung.
Oh,
gosh. So our whole text chain is green.
No offense, Android users, but
I can't push the button. I'd have to build a new chain without her in it and push the button. Okay, let's talk about our kitchen. Well, let me give you a compliment, if you don't mind receiving. As I read the book, one of the things you do really well, speaking of friendship, is you constantly, more than once, you mention and tag other creators who are your friends. And you even put their handle on there. Mm-hmm. That is such an act of abundance, not scarcity. How'd you learn that? How'd you get in a place where you could go, if someone sees this other person, puts my book down, follows them and unfollows me, that's okay with me? How'd you get there?
I think just because to me, it more felt like, no, this is like, they taught me this. How could I ever say that I learned, like I didn't do it. Yeah. Like I think about Kelly Hampton and
love her so much.
She is a wonderful, wonderful human being.
Yes.
And you know, in the book, I talk about her thing where you watch old TV shows and you just notice the homes and how like warm and inviting they are. And she on her Instagram has like a saved story bubble where she does it on things that you have definitely probably seen. And it's really amazing to watch shows that you love and notice like there's magnets on the fridge. There's a toaster with like ramshackled bags of bread around it. Like, and she watching hers, I was like, this is so great. And it's homey. It's like inviting. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, I have to credit her. Yes. She's the one that taught it to me.
Yes. I also love her 15-minute shakedown. Gosh. I do that in my house. I'm going to tell the truth, once a month maybe, where I will be like, I'm going to be Kelly Hampton right now, and I'm going to set a 15-minute timer, and your house is different after 15 minutes.
Yes.
Maybe it's for people with families, you can do a room in 15 minutes. I live alone, so I can do my house in 15 minutes. But man, I think she's brilliant.
She is.
I just think you modeled really beautifully in this book when you talk about friends, when you talk about Nate, when you talk about other creator friends, abundant living that is not rooted in fear.
Yeah.
And I just thought, that was beautiful.
Thank
you. I wrote it down. So I want to make sure I sent it to you. Okay. So we are talking about as well how your kitchen can reflect the different seasons. We're finishing summer, going into the fall. In the book, you talk about money. There's a whole chapter on money.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about how you buy groceries, how you teach us what things are in season, what to eat when everyone watching you doesn't have the same budget.
Yeah.
How have you dealt with that?
That early on felt very important to me because especially when especially pre-2020, like 2017, 2018, like the wellness movement was huge.
Yeah.
People would be like, I'm making this recipe and you need to use like organic free-range chicken and you're going to add organic free-range egg.
Yes.
And you're like, just the whole thing, every ingredient would be very much like spelled out.
Saffron. Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm never going to mention what kind of chicken you should use. I'm just going to say chicken breasts because I'm like, I actually don't believe. I'm telling you, I do not believe that there is any virtue to what kind of chicken you feed your family.
Sure.
Like I'm like, make that decision for yourself.
Yes.
But I think that morality being put on food, especially, there was, and I write about this in the book, but there was a time early on where I fed my kids salmon and it was farm raised, which I just think tastes better. But I had bought farm raised and this was again, kind of during those like early wellness days and people were being like, you really should get wild caught salmon. And in my head, I was like, are you kidding me? My kids are about to eat salmon.
Right.
None of them eat salmon anymore. But I was like, we are making me feel bad for buying farm-raised salmon. And I just thought about like a mom shopping at a low-cost grocery store, trying to feed her family well. Like, why would I ever? Like, why would I ever want her to feel bad for what kind of like grain she serves with it? And I think there's like there's obviously area for nutrition, like teaching someone about nutrition, but having that have morality stacked on top of it is just like awful to me that anyone would feel shame. I'm like, if you're just trying to feed, if you're thinking at all about like feeding your children, you're doing so much better than you probably could even imagine.
Right.
Like the fact that it's on your radar it makes you a loving parent in my book.
How do you cook as much as you cook and stay on budget? Do y'all eat everything?
Yes. We, and our budget for groceries is high. It is where, it's funny, I remember reading Michael Pollan's book a long time ago, and he just was talking about how a lot of cultures, so much of their money does go to food. Like and how in America, it almost became like, how do we get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper with food? But we kind of were like, what are we cutting out? What are we trying to spend money on by cutting money on food? And it's like, well, we don't need to buy more clothes. Like there was a lot of like excess things that it was almost like we'd kind of rather spend the money on food. And that's what our kids are consuming more than anything. They wear the same like 3 shirts, you know, not to say they don't have clothes, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But so
I also wear the same 3 shirts. Like that. I gotta have a rotation.
But I think that we probably view like food is the biggest part of our budget, but it's also like the most practical part of our budget. We're like making it and consuming it.
Yes.
I really utilize the freezer. That's like a whole like pillar of Naptime Kitchen because then I can buy things in bulk a little bit more, make things in bulk a little bit more, and freeze them. And then I have like all the effort. Do you have a freezer
out in the garage, like a
big one? We do. We have a big one.
Doors or deep freeze?
Stand up.
Okay, great.
Thank you. If you're ever thinking, stand up's the way to go if you're doing like casseroles. I think if you were doing like meat, like a big one for meat. But
if you're a hunter family and you've just got an entire deer process.
If you have a deer process freezer. But the stand-up's just so much easier to like get things in and out of. And so we do a lot of shopping at Costco and I'll like buy 6 loaves of bread at Costco and throw 4 in the freezer. Because, you know, then
you just made sandwiches for your kids at school and you sliced the rolls in half and
put them in the
sandwiches
freezer.
And then put them in the freezer. I thought that was brilliant.
I know. We're big. But we do. So yes, we spend a lot on groceries. Again, it's just like as our family grows too. I can't imagine how much I'm going to spend in the next like 5 years.
I mean, the people who have like 4 boys, I have friends who have 4 boys. I'm like, they're never full.
I know. And I'll make something and be like leftovers and people will be like, enjoy those leftovers. You will not have leftovers, which makes me sad because I'll eat the leftovers for like lunch for the next 3 days. I do not care about eating the same thing for over and over. The like, again, the like practical, like we must use what we've bought, I'll be like, I made salmon, funny enough, and nobody liked it. And so I ate salmon for the next 4 days.
No.
But I was like, Kate, you will eat.
Well,
and I bought, salmon's not the cheapest. I was I bought this stupid salmon and every day for lunch, I reheated salmon.
Yes.
It was great. But by the end, I was like, okay, I've finally eaten all the salmon.
Yeah, you're like, I've done all I could do to this salmon.
I've done what I can do.
Listen, talk to the single girls because we make one recipe and we eat it for 4 days. That's
I know,
it.
That is.
Yes. And by the last one, you're like, I can't. I gave this my all. I cannot eat this one more time. It is the worst.
Yes.
How do you feel about fall in your kitchen? What is your favorite season in the kitchen?
Yes. I think my favorite season is fall. And I actually really love winter. I just love like the soup, stew
the cozy
season.
Times, yeah.
But I loved you asking kind of about how so many rooms in your house, the way that you reflect the season comes through like, a lot of people do it through like decorations.
Yes.
But the kitchen is such a great place where the season can be reflected in such a like practical way through either food or through just like what's on your counter. So like the blender is on the counter in the summer. We're making smoothies nonstop. Yeah. And then in the winter, you might have like a big like pot on your stove that just kind of lives there because you use it so much more. Yes. Or you like have a candle lit or just the produce on your counter, like in the summer versus the fall versus the winter, just the amount that you can reflect the season in a way that you're also like utilizing versus like buying a like fake pumpkin and putting it on your shelf,
That's right. That's right.
I love that the kitchen is such a workhorse that it just kind of naturally gets to reflect the season.
Yes.
And I'm also like, if you want it to, I'm like, get your biggest soup pot and just like leave it on your stove, especially if it's a pretty fall color, like leave it on your stove for a little bit or just like play around with, is there something that makes you feel like you're in that season more?
Yeah.
What
are you like going to cook in the fall? Like, what are your things that you're like, I hold this recipe, like a pumpkin bread or something?
Yes. The kids love like a pumpkin muffin. So that's easy, but I have to be careful because I will burn out on pumpkin. Like they came out with the pumpkin spice latte.
Oh, yeah.
And I got one this morning.
Oh, yeah, girl.
And I'm like, Kate, you got to be careful because I will burn out before October 1st. So it's like, I really have to fight to save like the pumpkin muffins for October.
Be in season. Well done.
And it's like just not the same to sip on it in Charleston in September because it's like 90 degrees and you're like fighting so hard to enjoy it.
Yes.
I make a homemade pumpkin cold foam. So that is my kind of transitional enjoyment of like pumpkin, but make it cold foam.
Yeah.
And then I make a Thai chicken soup that I love.
Yeah.
I love like any like spaghetti, like sauce, anything like that just sits on your stove for a long period of time. I'll make like chili and I
love that too. I'm a soup person. I'm like, and then I can put 4 servings in the freezer.
Yes.
And then every time I get to work, I don't have to say to Lillian, I forgot my lunch.
Yes.
Like I actually grabbed the soup that I remembered in the freezer.
Soup is normally like like you can freeze 99% of soup. So I'm like, just make a big batch, put it in little portions.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
It's the best.
Hey friends, just interrupted this conversation one more time to tell you about one of our incredible partners, Brave Books. Parents and aunts and teachers, this is the thing I think my mini BFFs will love. Brave Books make these stunning kid stories that teach great values. We're talking courage, forgiveness, standing strong in faith, but wrapped up in a book series that is so engaging, your little ones won't even realize they're getting life lessons. Brilliant. The illustrations are seriously gorgeous, and I love that each book has fun games the whole family can enjoy. Plus, there are these conversation starters in the back that make it so easy to talk about big things with your little ones. Now, Brave even has something called Brave Plus, their new streaming platform. It's full of engaging, non-overstimulating shows that your kids will love and you'll feel great about. And it comes free with any book subscription. So if you're curious, head to bravebooks.com/TSF and use the code TSF. And my friends are going to get 20% off your first order. That's 20% off with the code TSF. Like that sounds fun. At bravebooks.com/TSF. Trust me, your people are going to love these. And now back to finish up our conversation with Kate. This is not my thing I hear in my head, but your book is how I just wish I had a bigger kitchen. Talk to the women who are listening that is their central thing. I just wish I had a bigger kitchen. If I had a bigger kitchen, again, I don't relate to this personally, but what is that about?
Yes. Well, I think twofold. One, because the kitchen is a place that you use so well. A lot of us, Annie.
Yeah.
Not Annie in particular.
Not specifically me.
But you use it so often, it can just be a place where the frustrations can come out really quickly of like, oh, like if this space was bigger, everything would just be easier.
Right, because you're in there so much.
Because you're in there so much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I also think, especially online, the kitchen is often a place that you see photographed or someone's making a recipe in like a beautiful space and there's nothing on the counter. And I think that we kind of think like beautiful kitchen, beautiful home, beautiful family, beautiful life. Like if my kitchen were clean,
geez, that's such a stretch.
Life would be put together. But I'm telling you what, I have one of my dearest friends, I went over to her house the other day really quickly and I walked in and there was so much stuff on her counter. Yeah. It wasn't like, it's not like she's not an untidy person. It was just like ballet was about to start and school's about to start. There's just things that are living where it's like, these things need to get to this place and this place and this is a return. And it's just, our homes are such a reflection of just living life. Yeah. But I think we want them to look like we don't live there. And that is a really hard thing to come up against of like, I want my home to look like nobody lives here, but 6 people live in it.
Yes.
And so there's obviously something there that I need to like work through. And how can I reorient my brain to how does my home look like people do live here?
Yes.
Like, you know, what that means.
I mean, that like, if my kitchen is beautiful, my home is beautiful, my family's beautiful, my life is beautiful.
Yeah.
I said that's a stretch in my mind. Oh, I said it out loud, but I thought, not a stretch like, how'd you get there? But like, oh my gosh, the way we walk one reality to a totally different reality. Yeah. Any of us can do that.
Yeah.
If my bedroom's clean, I'm better connected with God.
Yes.
How did I get there? Yeah.
And that's how the book opens with me in bed. I'm so happy. It's Saturday morning and I open Instagram and there's like a beautiful marble countertop and the person I'm looking at is wearing like gardening shoes. And I'm like, dang, what are gardening shoes? I'm in my like Crocs. And it's just quickly how like her beautiful counter. And I'm like, her whole life is just so calm and peaceful. And I got that from looking at her counter. And it's like, it's funny, but we do that. We go there of like, ugh.
Yes.
Their life is just so much better than mine. And if I can't even get my kitchen under control and I'm so frustrated with everybody here. Yeah. It just happens.
The control chapter was really important to me too. One of the things you said that I thought was really important is you were talking about how we often go like, all these negative things happen that we cannot control. My kitchen's a mess, our finances are this, whatever. Mm-hmm. But you said the good things are out of our control too.
Yeah.
Will you talk about that for a little bit? I think that's really important to think about.
It's just, I think I kind of came to this realization that, you know, again, like take my kids in school. If I were to be like, how was your school day? They would be like, bad. And maybe like one minute detail of their day was maybe not what they wanted, but everything else in the day was fine. And we kind of go about our days just having so many wonderful things happen, but we don't notice them because it's almost like we're kind of used to just having a normal life. Yeah. And we just notice these bad things and we can kind of like, oh, that bad thing, how can I make that bad thing not happen?
Yeah.
But there's so much happening in our lives on a daily basis that are for our good that we just aren't like taking a chance to notice. And like even my husband got in a bad car accident and I think I write this in the book.
Is unbelievable.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
But it was like he walked away. And for me to be like, I couldn't control that in that instance he walked away.
Yes.
Like I couldn't control that he got in a car wreck, but I also couldn't control that he came out unscathed. Or I always
you drive to the bridge and the traffic, and you're like, my husband is the reason for that traffic because there's a wreck.
Yes,
dude.
You know,
I cannot
or
imagine.
Just like I couldn't control that every car stopped at the stop signs when they were supposed to on my way to school, and I got there safely with my children.
Yeah.
That every single driver was paying attention and did what they were supposed to do to help me get safely to where I was headed. Like there's so many small things happening that are also outside of your control that protect you or just allow good in your life.
I had a business friend of mine. I was going through a really hard time in business. And he said, have you tried everything? I said, yeah. Have you prayed? Yes. Have you asked for help? Yes. And he said, yeah, you just can't control that everything's going bad. I was like, I know. The Lord's in control. And he was like, I need you to remember this next time everything goes right.
Yeah.
Is you can try everything. You can pray. You can ask for help. And you still can't control it going right.
Yeah.
And he was like, it matters to pay attention to that in your losses because then you'll pay attention to that in your wins.
Yeah.
When you think you have control over your wins, you actually don't have that control either.
Yeah. And it's super humbling. It is like
So
very humbling. I think in Deuteronomy, God talks about this and he's I'm going to butcher it because I haven't read it in so long, but he's basically like, I want you to remember that like, I got you here lest you think next time.
Yes.
It was us. Like it's like Deuteronomy 6 and 7, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well done.
But like we got ourselves here and God's like, no, you need to remember that I brought you out.
Yes.
That's
really
and
good.
it's just, I love that verse because I can easily be like, I did this. I did this. It's like, no, God allowed so much to happen, to get you to where you are.
Yes.
So
that is
humbling.
When I bump into something really hard and I start going, what could I have done? What could I have done? Did I cause this to do it? And then I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to control everything.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to control absolutely everything.
Yeah.
It's
exhausting.
Yeah. But then
Utterly exhausting.
can I quote you to yourself? On page 176, you said, God is much more hands-on than I give him credit for.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think he's more hands-on than you give him credit for?
Because I think that he's only paying attention when I'm stressed and looking for control.
Yeah.
But when I realize that he's orchestrating all of this that's outside of my control, it like allows me to be like, he's so hands-on. Things that I'm not paying attention about, he has been paying attention to. And I just think he's so much more tender than I give him credit for. Like,
that's right.
If I'm like, God, I am really stuck. Like I was saying at the beginning of, I'm just in a bad mood and I don't know what would make it better. And I'm frustrated that he is like truly hands-on.
Yeah.
That he would like hug you. And be like, I thank you for telling me.
Yes.
I can already see it.
Yes.
Thank you for telling me.
Yes.
And I love you despite how you're feeling. And just that he's more like tender and he's not mad at you or he's not like, how dare you?
Right.
That he is understanding.
That's right.
When I'm a butthead.
Yeah. Listen, if that was a club, I'd be in it with you. We would have matching shirts because I can be a butthead. Okay. Is there anything we didn't say about the book that you want to make sure we say?
I don't think so. I'm really excited. I hope that people enjoy it.
It is such an easy read. And it is like sitting and talking with a friend. It is it's very smartly written, but it is an easy read. It was enjoyable.
Thank you.
So beautiful job. Okay, Kate, for starters, will you please autograph this book for my sister?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Again, she has never been kinder to me than in the last 12 hours when I said, guess who's coming in? But I remember when my nephew TJ was dying, you were a friend to Tatum. She would talk about you, talk about things you were making. You were really important to her. So
thank you.
Thank you for your work. Okay, the last question we always ask. Because the show is called That Sounds Fun, tell me what sounds fun to you, Kate.
Okay. Well, I had to laugh. There's an episode in Bluey where Bluey and his family go to the beach. And basically, Bluey's the little girl dog and she has a sister. And the dad.
Bluey's a girl?
Yes. This is huge. You do need to know this. And it takes a while to figure out in the show.
This whole time I thought Bluey was the boy who had a little sister.
No, Bluey and Bingo are both girls.
That revelation. That is a revelation.
We need a whole new podcast.
Yeah.
But the dad says to the mom, he's like, you just go down to the beach. We'll meet you down there. And the mom goes down and it's like, Bluey does such a good job of bringing so the mom's down there and she's like, maybe I'll read. No, I'll sit in the sun before I start. Okay, I'm going to sit in the sun before I start reading. And she can't figure out what she should do with her time alone.
Yeah.
She's like, she can't. And when I had this question, I was like, I'd like to go to Europe with my family. No, wait, maybe we should go to Alaska. Alaska would be fun. Like, I could not. I was like more stressed about this question.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no, like a lot of things sound fun, but I have decided that I really think I would like to see whales.
Oh, okay.
That sounds fun.
Yes.
To me.
Yes.
I think it'd be really awesome if my family and my kids were with me, if like we all saw something that large and magnificent.
Yes.
That I could really enjoy that.
Okay.
Ironically,
so Hawaii,
yeah.
Alaska,
Yes.
oceanic.
Yes.
We went to Hawaii, some friends and I, a couple of years ago. My friend Jamie, when she sees whales and their blowholes come out, she calls them beeholes.
Okay.
I need you to know that Tatum has a son named Sam who is 5.
Okay.
And they are in Hawaii currently.
Okay.
And
Way to not invite me, Tatum.
Right?
Yeah.
I may have taught him beeholes, and that did not go great with the parents. Both her and her husband both gave me an actual stern FaceTime response to why did you just teach our 5-year-old to I'm going to go look for beeholes.
Wow.
But he knows, he laughs.
He knows.
When we laugh.
And
I'm the worst influence, but
that's what you get. You need a fun aunt that teaches you that.
That's right.
And also, before we go, just so that people can know this about me, I worked at SeaWorld, Annie.
You did the one in Florida?
Yeah. I worked at the Shamu show.
Did you say this?
No. SeaWorld didn't make it in, and I worked at Disney World, guys.
Oh,
but
were you friends with a certain character at Disney World?
No.
Okay.
Disney is a hard place to work, but I also worked at SeaWorld, and I actually worked 2 summers at the Shamu show.
That is very cool.
I have seen, and this was like pre the Blackfish documentary where things were really good.
What did you think about that too?
That was kind of hard.
I bet.
Just because I was there during like the time that those things happened. But I would weep during the Shamu show.
It was so beautiful.
Oh, I just loved it. That whale jumping out of the water.
They are beautiful.
So I have seen.
And they're just so big.
And that's a killer whale, which is probably the scariest of the whales. So I would love
certainly.
to see larger, more gentle whales.
Yes. I've only seen a few beeholes in my life, and I found them gorgeous. I just could not believe. I mean, when we were out we didn't even have like a good day on this boat ride in Hawaii compared to what they say you can see. And the few that were around us, it was like, this is shocking how beautiful this is. It is, I'll go with you.
I would love to see it.
Okay, great. And take the kids. I will not teach them what I taught my nephew Sam. It didn't go over. I've learned a lesson. What's funny to me is funny to him, which means it's not funny to his parents. It's okay. My bad. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for flying here on book launch day. That just means so much to me.
I'm thrilled. Yeah. Thrilled. Thank you for having me.
What an honor to have you on. I can't wait for people to get this book and read it. And I'm going to make those Hawaiian roll cinnamons.
Yes.
Great.
Be warned. They're good.
I will want them all the time. Yes. I get it. You guys, isn't she awesome? I know, my sister was right. She is everything we hoped she would be. What a treat to learn from her and hear from her. Head over to social media. Tell Kate thank you for being on the show. You can find her as Naptime Kitchen on Instagram, but my guess is most of you already follow her. Me too. Y'all have got to grab a copy of her book. I just wish I had a bigger kitchen. This is going to be great. I know a book club that's getting ready to read it here in town. I have some friends that are reading it that just love it. This is a great one to gift as the holidays are coming, and you're going to love reading it. If you enjoyed this episode, I think you're also going to love episode 897 with Emily Morrow from Really Very Crunchy. I love her. Their podcast is on the That Sounds Fun network. You've got to check out Really Very Crunchy, or episode 946 with Danielle Kartes from Rustic Joyful Food. If you have any questions from this episode, just drop them in the Q&A box on your Spotify app if you're a Spotify listener like me, or send them to us on Instagram at That Sounds Fun Podcast. We'll try to answer them there. If you need anything else from me, you know I'm embarrassingly easy to find, except today on Labor Day, where we're all just out playing. I'm Annie F. Downs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, anywhere you need me, that's where you can find me. I think that's it for me today, friends. Go out or stay home. Do something that sounds fun to you, and I will do the same. Today, what sounds fun to me is finding a waterfall. So I'm looking. I'm not chasing, but I'm looking. Oh, are you with me? Okay, y'all have a great week. We'll see you back here on Monday with a new friend I'm really looking forward to introducing you to. It's a story from one of you, from one of our listener friends, about the season that she is living in. It's my friend Kate Edwards. I can't wait for you to meet her next Monday.
That sounds fun. That sounds fun. Oh, that sounds fun. Check 1, Round two on the microphone. Annie F. Downs in your car to your home. Every week it's something new. A deep talk or an interview. She'll make you laugh, she'll make you cry. When it's dark out, she's a light. When you're down, get you feeling right. Oh man, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. That sounds fun.